month of the month this day. Cool. Okay, well, I guess I'm streaming. I'll probably have to turn on my. Go to my YouTube so that I can see what I'm doing. Make sure that I'm not fucking everything up. Oh, that's really quiet. Okay, so how about now? Does that sound any better? Well, I gotta wait till the stream catches up. Which it probably will by the time I say I gotta wait till the stream catches up. Where's this coming from? Who are you? Properties. Default device. How about this? How about now? Oh, that sounds a lot better than what it sounded like before. Because it was coming instead from my webcam. So, I guess if people do actually join, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Because I'm listening to myself talk, and that's annoying. Okay, so, no viewers yet, which is cool. We're all good. Totally fine with that. Um, but I'm Gandhi. You can call me Gandhi. Uh, I decided that since I am, so it's in the description, but for any viewers who may not be able to read, much like myself, I just have to guess what the words all do. Um, I'm Gandhi. My wife got me a stationary bike so that I could, get healthy. I added on a little bit of weight, but lucky me, she still loves me, finds me attractive, which is not the same that I can say for myself, unfortunately. You know what? I'll try to talk so you're not just listening to my stupid spiel here. Um, so, yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to. No. No. No stabby me, idiot. So, she got me a oh, he's still alive. I thought he for sure was dead. She got me a stationary bike, and of course, nerd that I am, I took parts of it apart that helped, measure, like, how far are you going, how fast, blah, blah, blah. And on top of that, I installed a little board that is holding my, oh, I don't know if you can, I don't think you can see him right now. That was Sweet Pea. I have a cockatiel. He'll probably be in and out of the video, the stream occasionally. I'm dead. Just gotta give up. But yeah, being the ultimate gamer, TM, that I am, I decided to take apart the things that mattered, like showing your heart rate, how far you've gone, all that fun stuff. And I added my own little DIY board for gaming so that I could continue playing games and also cycling. So if I'm out of breath, it's because I'm cycling, but also because I'm unhealthy. But I basically have been doing this for the past week or so. Just waking up relatively early in the morning, getting on it, and then water, and then, you know, riding and playing games for hours. Um, I am fun employed. So if you're like, oh, that's cool that you get to do that. What do you do for, like, do you do that while you're at work? No. This is, I was, this is now my work. And by this is now my work, I mean, just riding this bike is now my work. I have no idea, no predilections that, or expectations that this will turn into a job, or be at all successful, especially when I just walk in and get rocked. Holy God. But, yeah, I thought that I would just play some of this. If someone thought that was cool and wanted to see the streams of a guy who looks like he comments on women's pictures telling them how they should dress or that they should go for nice guys. That's not who I am, by the way. I am not that person. Just wanted to make sure of that. But if you want someone who looks like that, so that it can scratch some sort of itch for you. Ah, shit. Then you have come to the right place. Get fucked. Ooh. Also, I'd like to point out that, unless you're stupid with it like I am. Ooh. Gotcha. Silly with it like I am. Mental health check. Mental health check. I probably should have like tags or something so that people are like, oh fuck. How do we know if we like something if there are no tags? What are we supposed to do? Just watch it for ourselves? No, the algorithm's got to tell us what we like and what we don't like. Okay, the algorithm has decided that I need to shut the fuck up, I guess. But yeah, today I started at 11:51, and where I am, it's now 3:28, and with minimal breaks for setting up all this bullshit. I'll just quit out of this. Let me check. Edit video. Oh, it's gonna have me do some stupid bullshit, ain't it? Let's see. Close, subtitles, end screen. Do I add the hashtags in here? Like funny? Yeah. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Gaming. Cool. Half sword. Fitness. Fitness. Everybody complete that at home. Content. Comedy. Cycling. Stationary bike. We're throwing pow pow stuff at the wall. See what sticks. Funny, gaming, half sword, cycling, chatting. Just chatting. Game. Gameplay. Very good. What about just games? Games. What about just game? Games also doing very good. What are other words? I'm not sponsored, but it would be really funny to put sponsored into my videos so that people think that I am more creative and popular than I am. I don't know, I've sung that and I don't... Crazy. Let's see what some other people do with their videos that gets them. Let's see. Okay, so they don't really do too terribly much. At least with that one. Let me see. Who else? I am actively, you know, I don't know if it comes across as well, but I am actively pedaling. So if I seem a little out of breath or something like that, you know, it's because of that. PvE. Okay. What about swords? Sword. Okay. What about, I don't know, Gandhi? 102,000 channels. That's fun. Sure. We'll save that. I hope that the... Okay. Let's go back to my channel. Let's see, did that work? Yeah, it did. Moderation helps everyone feel safe. That's awesome. I agree. Sorry, I know that if anybody was watching, they were like, well, this is just a guy saying nothing, not actually playing a game. He's lying to us. He's a liar. I'm not a liar. I'm just, profoundly bad at figuring out. Oh, okay. Oh, God. Okay, so the premise for this game is that I had to complete all of these other things of like varying rates. So this one starts at 3, 4, I think it goes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, blah, 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 of different like armors and stuff. So first you start out as a beggar, which doesn't have anything. Then you go up to, nope, not talking to you. Then you go up to peasant, and you have to beat other peasants with that stuff, and you face a boss at the end of like getting these points. But it goes up like this, and then you get to like armored stuff, armor, and then you get to here, where it's just not. You just start out, and it's kind of like, you know, waves, all that fun stuff. Kind of like waves. It's less like waves and more like a survival challenge, I guess. Which I guess waves can be, but... Oh, God. But you basically just have to try to survive. Oh, wasn't enough. Ugh. And I had managed to get through all of that stuff. When you die, you do have kind of like a second chance thing where you have to pull arms. Don't get me wrong. Swords, super cool. I love swords. I find them much easier to use, especially in this game where... Oh, no, I don't want to be shield man. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, swords are much easier to use. Swords are much easier to use in this game than a polearm would be. I'm going to go ahead and just slap that down. And I'm going to try to get my little wiggly arms. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I stopped talking. Oh, I'm dead. Okay. I swear, I've been doing better than this. Because I had to do all the other stuff, fighting all the other stuff, and if you died and you didn't get the second chance, like you didn't succeed the second chance thing, then it was just over, and you had to start over from the very beginning. So you could have been, you know, at... Ouch. You could have been at, you know, the soldier, the veteran, like one of the last parts, one of the last, like, things to go up, and then if you died there, gosh darn it, gosh darn it, gosh dang it. I said this isn't for children, which I don't think it should be for children. I'm not really That's not really my, like, projected audience, but I worry that, you know, probably not going to show it to anybody if I don't say, yes, it's children friendly. Like, I feel like it won't even show it to adults who are like, you know. Oh, God. I think I just snapped his neck or something. Oh, my good Lord. Oh, okay. Fuck off. Freak off. Swords are very dangerous because they are... Ooh! Unless I get you, and then I got him. Okay. Ooh, okay. Oh. So I think if playing Kingdom Come Deliverance is any kind of measure about things, it's worked pretty well so far to kind of follow that lead. Aye. Gotta get you. To kind of follow that lead. But you want to try to keep your blade, ow, on the opposite side. Nope. Okay, well, two things you want to try to do. You want to keep your blade on the opposite side of wherever they're attacking from. So if they're, you know, holding this from, we're just going to watch me get pummeled to death for a little bit here. So if they're like coming in for a strike over here, you want to keep it over here so that you get a full swing to, oh, if I can stand up really fast, dang it, okay, I was paying attention, but if you keep it, you know, either center to give yourself a good, like, kind of opening, essentially. You keep it, like, in the center so that you're sort of free to figure out where your, parry or whatever goes, your defenses are. Middle's good, but if someone's, like, attacking from the right, you want to hold to the left so that you can knock their... right there. Sometimes you do go into, like, sort of a stance that's good for, depending on what weapon you're using and what the position is, you go into a good stance to, like, block up here. Like, that could be kind of... Ay. Okay. Death happens very quickly in this game. It's always a good kind of point of reference to kind of align with, is that death happens super quick, and you want to avoid that. Sometimes it's just good to get in there with your fists and just start wailing on people. Because sometimes you think like, oh, oops, not what I was trying to get, buddy. Oh. No, oh, you're awake and alive. I thought you were close to done. Yeah. Ow. I think I'm just kind of punching the floor and hurting my character. Okay. So, sometimes it feels good just to punch. But yeah, death can happen very quickly. I've seen a lot... Ow! God! I've seen a lot of people... Oh, no! A lot of, like, ratings of, like, sword fights and videos on, like, TikTok and stuff, where they talk about, like, an actual swordsman, someone, you know, who's practiced, those kinds of, like, European, it's called, like, FEMA or something? It's not FEMA, but it might, it's like European martial arts, or things like that. But those would be, whereas we think of like martial arts as things like, you know, jujitsu or karate or being a master of Krav Maga, if you get that reference from, it's an Archer reference. Ouch. Oh, ooh. I think you should be able to fight a little bit more when you're on the ground. Like, I know they're coming at you with, like, a knife, or, like, with weapons and stuff while you're on the ground. But I'm like, unless you've actually been... You can get just straight up, like, knocked out instead of, like... Yai. That's not a knockout, that is death. Come on, that is death. But you can get, like, knocked out, as well as I might just have to give this one up, because unless I can get, through his guard, and then just punch him a lot, until he turns into a skeleton, which is their way of getting rid of bodies. Kind of terrifying. If I do, just pick it up. Okay. Pitchfork, very good. Polearms, I probably started to say something about them, and then just didn't. Unless you're silly like I am. Ooh, yeah. So polearms are very good, and they have been for like hundreds or thousands of years. I shouldn't say just hundreds. Thousands of years, polearms have been the primary weapon of what we would think of, like, primary and secondary weapons. Polearms have been the primary weapon for thousands of years, because all warfare and all fighting and blah 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 is based on how do I do the most damage to somebody else and minimize the amount of damage that I am, like, possible to receive. So, for instance there, polearms, people had, probably like axes and like knives and things like that, and they realized that when they would battle people, if this guy had a knife and you had a knife, you have to get in like in this example actually. If this guy has a knife and that guy has a knife, well, it's going to be pretty reasonable that both of you are going to take damage. Both of you are going to be putting your lives at risk with the potential of getting hit. And it's also about inflicting maximum damage from the place. How can you inflict the most amount of damage and incur the least amount of risk, right? So, people, if you have, like, a knife, right, and the other guy has a knife, there's a very real likelihood that both of you are going to get hurt. And unfortunately, in real life, there's not some sort of, like, specific health counter or anything where it's like, oh, I got him to 0 before he got me to 0, so I win. But instead, if you get stabbed and he gets stabbed, whether it's now or later, you could both just die. So you want to minimize that. So polearms, the idea became, well, if I have a knife, but I also have, like, a strong stick and some binding, or, like, knowledge of that. Yikes! I promise I'm better at this game than I seem like. I'm not gonna promise that. That's dumb. I might not be better at this game than I seem like, but hopefully I'll get my mojo back between talking and between my slashing, chatting, and cycling. Ay. Oh. I wonder, am I... If I choose someone else to play as, I wonder if I would get to bring that guy in, or if it's going to, like, default to, like, the number of points that I do. I should try that after I inevitably get murdered right here. So, what I was saying is that while I get beaten to death here, let's see if I can stand up. I don't think I'm standing up. I'm not. Oh, I'm standing up. Hey, that's crazy. Problem. I think both of my arms are flimsy. Yikes. Yeah. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Okay. Well, we're just gonna call that good right there. Oh. Okay. If I go here... Okay, so now it basically is just gonna put me back into the other kinds of matches, what have you. I used that. I did not like that. That, like, big, like, greatsword. It just did not feel very good. Like, there are some other, like, greatswords and longswords and things like that that do feel good down the tree, but that one did not. Unfort. Jeez. Fully kitted out. And the knight is not, like, my favorite. The knight's not my favorite of, like, the classes that you can go to, because basically in this game you're either fighting, unless you're doing, like, a last stand, which is a bunch of, like, lower level people, like 4 lower level people against just you, you're fighting other, like, knights who are heavily armored, and a lot of times, especially if you're wanting to use, like, a sword or whatever, it's just not gonna work very well, because wearing, like, plate armor basically makes you invincible to slashing, unless you get, like, underneath one of the areas here. Let's try a single combat as just a soldier. Oh, yo, 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 yo. So immediately knocked me to the ground. Yoink. I also don't usually use maces, because they're also not my favorite in this game. If you are actually going to use a mace, you know, they're fairly intuitive, because, you know, it's just like ball on big metal ball stick. Oh no, just not. See, big metal ball stick. It's real. You can't do any slashing on people wearing plate, and I would bet even he's giving up, but we're gonna smack him a few more times just to see. Don't kill me. Don't kill. Okay. Oh, here's Brave Stand, which is probably not going to be nearly as fun with a non. That's a little fun. Because you see, when you're a knight wearing full plate, you are basically just pretty close to invincible. Like, people who would, like, knights who would ride in on like horseback as part of like cavalry and stuff were essentially like those cavalry would be armored up too. They would essentially be like medieval versions of tanks. Like, it was very like you could unhorse them if you had, you know, if you were part of like a spear corps or like, you know, but if they, you know, managed to get past that and hit a side that you weren't ready for them to hit from or what have you, you're probably gonna die. There's just, like, they're tanks. Like, they've got, like, sheets of, you've got, like, enemy combatants around you, you've got, like, the horse is most likely draped in its own, like, sheet of, like, chainmail or whatever. Like, you're in full plate mail, like, strapped onto this horse, I presume. Like, it's gonna be real hard to kill you, because you're just, as I said, you're like a big old tank. So, fighting, I don't know who that is. I'm not going to answer that. So, fighting on getting hit by horseback or getting hit with by people with, you know. Ooh. Oh yeah. I'm gonna grab that and then two hand. It just feels like every weapon you get when you get up to like night just feels like super wobbly and not the most fun, you know. It's just like I don't really want like a lot of the other things, like a lot of the other weapons at lower levels feel super stable and just really great to use because like you get really fun angles and things like that to like uppercut with like a sword or with a sword or with an axe, you know, something fun like that. But then you get up to this level of play and it's just not quite as rewarding. Not quite as rewarding. I'll do one more single combat. Like, I don't know if they want to make it, jeez, or... Good gracious, get away from me, sir. I'm gonna beat you with a mace. Oop. Oh, I guess he's really tired out. Poor fella's all tired out. Come on. It's okay, buddy. You can just go to bed. I could not imagine how bad that would feel if you caved in like a... Oh. I guess I can just go back to menu now. I guess it was kind of a free play thing. I'm gonna go back to... Ooh. Yeah. We're gonna go back to here. Because this... Oh. Hi. Who are you? See? Like I said, those ones are fun because you could just get them right under the armor and just push directly into them. Like this guy, heavily armored, but the fun thing is that when you're heavily armored, when you use like an axe, it's kind of like a blade and a blunt weapon at the same time. Because a sword is meant for cutting or piercing, and like might be better at one or the other. An axe is meant for just hacking away, and if you hit someone with a big chunk of metal that's attached to the end of a very strong stick, they're gonna feel that. They're gonna feel that a lot, and it's really gonna hurt. Ooh, there we go. See, you could just catch them, chop chop. And that's why I like the less heavy armored fights, because these feel a lot more impactful. Oh, he said no shield. Should have maybe said shield. Because even if, at least with this, it just feels... Oh, I'm missing. Ooh. Kind of like phasing through like a little bit. Oh yeah. And then when you do the brave stand, but you're using a weapon that you actually enjoy. I'm trying to catch this guy, but I'm having a real tough time. Ooh. This is my other favorite use of the... is you can kind of just shove... Yikers. Oh my gosh! Okay, okay. Okay, calm down, calm down. Oh, I guess I'm just punching now. And I'm on the ground. So ignore everything else I said. Ignore all of it. It's all gone. I think they, like, ringed me. Sorry, just checking my phone, which may or may not be unprofessional for a stream, but I think I'm the only one watching right now. Am I overreacting for not wanting to pay my 13-year-old sister $1,000? Stupid. That's the stupid Reddit stuff I read. I usually actually like to read things that are like, best of Reddit updates, things like that, because, in my opinion, they're way more fun. Because I want to see, you know, what happens to the people. I don't just want, am I overreacting? And most of them, oh no, didn't want to do that, oh no! Okay, we're gonna disengage. I will say that usually having a sword in these ones, is a little bit better, because you just have that whole blade to catch him with. Whereas with the axe, you have a very specific, with the axe you have a very specific range that you're able to kind of like hit them with, which is fun, and I really like the axe. Let's see. Sure. Let's try this. I'm not pedaling. That's a pedal. That's a pedal fine. Gotta be careful with the phrase pedal fine.
Have mercy on me. What game is that in bloodshed?
Okay. See, it's kind of fun. You can kind of get them in like certain. Ooh, and then you can get into little. See, that's what's fun with the. You can kind of just force them to the ground, and then they give up, which is Torns of Fern. And I do like getting into the. I think these actually still might be knights. Let's see, you want to always try to keep a sufficient amount of distance, because if someone's able to close that distance with, like, get the upper hand, then you've got yourself a Prabalamaba. But yeah, if someone can close that distance with you, that's what I was saying earlier, of like seeing like sword fights and stuff, where it looks like people in movies are specifically trying to hit the swords, which can be, you know, something you want to do, but it's like when they're going for quote-unquote like openings and things, they're just aiming for the swords themselves rather than the person wielding a sword. And in real sword fights, quote-unquote, in real sword fights, you want to always be moving to strike. You're always wanting to move to either, you know, like defend, or like, you obviously want to defend too, but like you want to defend, but you're not just trying to like go like bing, 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 bing. You're like trying to look for openings. breaking my own rules here by... Usually these are over a lot quicker, I gotta say. But I think usually I also have like a little bit bigger sword to kind of keep these guys away. Ooh, there we go. And then if I was a little bit better at stabbing, I'd be doing some stabbing, you know? Just giving a little stick there. But, well, sometimes I can really get it on point. I'm not... I also have to remember to... I want to confirm that. Ooh. Then if you can kind of use your sword as a bit of leverage to close the distance, sometimes you can... There are some people who just do crazy moves where they'll do like full turnaround swing, like sweeping motions, which are, I have no idea how they do that. That is difficult to do it. There we go. Okay, finally I think I caught him somewhere along that, but there we go. Just wanna, yes. You wanna catch him in the meat. You wanna catch him in the meat.
Too much hath been lost, while loss and more.
And by that, I mean you want to catch them in a place where you can So see, he didn't want to do that because he just basically threw himself into my sword. Bad idea. So I think it's actually not good. Falling on the ground. Traditionally, bad. Falling on the ground is traditionally considered a bad move. Ooh, yay. So if I can reapply some of those, ooh, yeah, some of the things that I've been kind of, want this a little bit more, a little longer, a little bit more stabby. That's the problem with swords, and, you know, just that kind of, ooh, okay, kind of that length, ooh, that if you can get them, damn it, I was hoping that I could, ooh, see Daisy, ay. Oh. I was hoping that I could get a good stab in on him. I probably could have stood up there, you know, whatever, but I'd like to try again. Can I do a little, ay. Pick up. So you want to, and this is exactly what I'm saying in the knife fight, is that, like, yeah, I'm getting some stabs in here, which is great, you know, take them where you can get them from, but I'm also getting stabbed a lot. This guy's coming in with a sword. And now, Yikes. Yeah, so that's the hard part most of the time. It's just like, especially when you're doing, you know, the unarmored stuff. I like the at least like somewhat armored. Like, I'm not a big fan of hey. Now I got 2 knives. What are they gonna do? Hit me with a mace. Oh, or I'm just gonna do that. Kind of a little bit of a panic move right there. Ay, ay, ay. There we see how effective pole arms are. Ay, ay, ay. Because if you can just yoink. Oh! Ah! Darn. Because if you could just kind of slide on in there, slide in your DMs, if you could just do that with the polearm, I mean, they're hard to counter. You have to try and like close the distance and not lose your balance. But like this pitchfork is my worst. Whenever this thing's out on the field, it's my worst nightmare. It's my worst nightmare. Because it's a polearm and it's really hard to counter. Because it just has straight prongs and it will stab you. Ay, ay, ay. I hate when they get those first couple stabs in, you know, just going wacky bonkers on you. Oh, cut off his foot. Can I pick this up and wield it with both hands? Oh, holy. Okay. Gotta remember my... You wanna just kind of... Ooh. There we go. I don't think that's specifically my choice, man. Whether I have mercy on you or not. Oh my god! I guess he... Ooh! Polearms. You go pack, pack. If you keep that distance in there, you know. Okay, yeah, the thing is... Oh, yeah. My videos are not made for kids. Don't really want to... Definitely don't want to change that on there, because that would be bad. I'm not trying to peddle my content to children. I don't even like them. Don't even like them. Papa-do. So, you know. YouTube turns 20. That's crazy. But yeah. Oof. I got so far. I was fighting like 2 or 3 people at the same time on this. Gotta pick back up the pace on the cycling. Okay. I'm just gonna wait till we get a good opening that isn't any of the things I just did. Okay, let's go. Bink. Okay. Come on, you want to try? Try. Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Okay. Ooh, yo, he tried to catch me in the stomach with that one, thankfully. Okay. Ah, shit. Come on. Oh, no. Come on. There we go. Okay, okay. That's a good opening. Drop that. Grab that. Grab that. Two hand. Two hand. Two hand. Put it in your hands. I guess you can't two-hand this one. And that, for instance, is why I like swords, because they're sharp, and you can, a lot of times, if you're aiming for the right place, you can just catch them. I wish it would not. That little weird bit. Ow. This is one of those moments where you'd want to probably have it. Okay. Well. Oh, this is... If I can get that... Ah. That's one of my favorite moves. You can lock this around him. You can... Jeez. Come on, man. Come on. There we go. He's not even dead yet. I realize he didn't turn into a skeleton. Sit down. My God. So I don't think I'm surviving this part. I think I'm way too injured to... Yikes. Way too injured. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. 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 No, you have to kill me. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, they're doing a great job. Okay, they knocked me out. Oh no! Oh no! What a break! What a break! By what a break, I mean break from gaming, never break from peddling. But yeah, I do this for literal hours a day. Just cycling, because I'm not doing anything else. And so I am also very... Ooh. Yikes. Okay. Oh my God! Yeah, so balance, another very important thing to make note of, is that you want to maintain your balance, because being on the ground sucks. Oh, yikes. As this... Oh. Yikes. Okay. That's what sucks about... Oh my God! That's what sucks about fighting swords. And not having a weapon with like a lot of reach. Because you have no way to counter their reach, and their... Unlike pole arms, pretty much until you get to the handle, every part of a... Yikes. Until you get to the handle, every part of a sword can be lethal. That's what's problematic. Unlike a polearm, you know, where it's like, well, they can use that to, you know, gain some spacing and things like that. A sword is, like, while they're annoying to deal with, a sword has, you know, if it hits you, it's most likely, at least in this game, most likely going to do damage. And that's kind of annoying when you've got something that has to be up close, like those little daggers or something. Oh, and my favorite guy. Yeah, with this guy, you just kind of have to pummel him a little bit. And then we've got the range. Ooh, okay. We just got to make sure we use it correctly. Because if you could just stick him, nice. Now you got yourself a sword. And now you're at least a little bit. Oh, great. God. The main thing with polearms that sucks, especially in this game, and probably in general too, in real life, I would presume, oh gosh, is that with polearms, at least in this game, you can easily just kind of walk onto that blade. And if you walk onto that blade, you get hurt. And so that can also happen very easily with the swords as well. They're just not always at the same point that they can have. They're not always at the same length or the same kind of like angle where you're going to walk in to the blade. So with polearms, a lot of times those are being held straight out against you, and because they're being held out straight against you, okay, because they're being held straight out against you, you end up having them getting you either walking into them or them shoving them into you. So you have to kind of like keep in mind to keep those, like, try and keep to the side of them when you're fighting against a polearm, which can be very difficult to do because especially with the shorter ooh, there we go. That's what I like. That's what I like to see. Now I've got new shoes. Okay. Cause see, if you could just get in there and just keep on kind of, man, this guy is, ooh, ouch. This guy's resilient. And this is where the thing about keeping your distance comes in, is that if you can, you know, keep your distance and get those pokes in, yikes. If you can keep your distance and get those pokes in, you also want to swing, keep which I kind of, okay. Still good. Thanks. well, in my opinion, much better as a stabbing weapon. You can give yourself a bit of, create a bit of space, and then you can die, because you, and then you can run into a wall and knock yourself out, and, you know, have fun that way. Oh, yeah, I think it's getting close to my quitting time. Like I said, I've been doing this since 11:51 in the morning. So because I've been doing it since then, I'm starting to get a little bit tired and a little bit sore. But I think it's better to... Okay, man. See, you wouldn't think that being hit with a hoe would be that bad. And then you realize that the tip of a hoe is a blade, and it can just stab right into you, and that is not fun. Oy, oy, oy. Yeah. Again, remember, hoe, pull arm. A hoe is a pole arm. It's also a not very nice thing to call people, unless, you know, unless they, like, embrace that term. That's cool, too. Well, I guess not everybody had a hoe phase, but the cool people did. Remember, it's okay to be a hoe. Just don't use it as a derogatory term. We're humans. Humans like stuff. Humans like intimacy and blah blah blah. As long as both as long as it was between consenting adults, you know, an enthusiastic and persistent yes from both parties, you are golden. You can be as much as a hoe as you want. Gandhi supports you. If you're worried about that kind of stuff, just be safe. You know, all the good. If you see any good tips, just pretend I said all of them. So, like if you see good tips later or something that I didn't say, I said it. Just you know that I did. You know that I meant. But yeah, just stay safe. Be responsible. All that fun stuff. Make sure that everybody is at least enjoying it, or is not, you know. Sorry if I got a little quiet there. I'm pedaling, talking, looking to stab. Got that guy right in the blab. I probably should not have dropped my pole arm. Probably a couple. Also, if you're a cuck or a cuckold, no shame in that. You like what you like. As long as you're into it, everybody's into it. I'm not a cuck. But, you know, you like what you like. I will judge you based on the merits of what I like and dislike, but I will never tell you that you're wrong or bad, as long as, again, doing everything safely and responsibly and making sure that, you know, you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, unless, you know what I mean. Making sure everything's responsible. If you're hurting someone, but you're both into it and you both consent to that, that's also fine. Just be aware if one of the things is like if you ask someone like, is this okay? If you're, I don't know how we got on this topic, but I guess we're going there now. But if you're, you know, intimate with someone and you ask like you just ask like, is this okay? Or like, are you okay? Blah blah blah. Let them beat me to death. And you ask them like, are you okay? Or are you enjoying it? Like, how is that? Blah blah blah. Whatever you're asking them, you know. If you're in that situation and that person takes that as like a turn off or something, as long as you're not asking like over it, whatever. That's between you and your partner. But don't feel bad for asking because you're trying to be safe, and if that person doesn't respect your intentions to just make sure that everybody's, you know, good and having fun, if they're not, you know, respecting that choice or respecting that you're asking and appreciating what like your intentions behind it, then that's not a good partner, you know. If you ask like, are you okay? And they're like, why did you ask that? That's weird. Like, don't ask me that. It's like, well, that could be something that you guys can have a conversation on later. It's kind of, it's not your fault, and you shouldn't feel discouraged. And if that's someone that you are in a long-term relationship with or committed with, and they don't like that, or if this is somebody that you see, you know, regularly, they don't like that. Usually, I mean, after a while, you should feel comfortable, like, just speaking up. So usually it's, like, first time or, you know, whatever, that would really be a problem. Because after a certain point, most likely, you know, if you're cultivating, if a relationship of, like, trust and understanding communication is being cultivated, then, you know, then, like, they should feel comfortable talking to you about it and, like, bringing it up, or you probably, like, don't have to ask as much, or you're not wondering as much since you're getting to know them. But in a situation where, you know, you feel the need to ask if something's okay, if someone does not take that well, or feels like weird about that, or like doesn't like that you ask that, in the same way that like some people like being asked if they want to be like kissed or whatever. Like some people like being asked like, do you want to, like, can I kiss you, blah blah, and then other people won't and they just want you to do it. But those signals are hard to read. I would never feel bad if the signals are not easily readable enough. Then, you know, it doesn't say anything bad about you to be like, can I kiss you, or would you like to kiss, or whatever, blah blah blah. What is happening? Same general things, like, don't feel discouraged because you didn't pick up a signal, or they weren't, like, displaying clear enough signals. Just, like, take that and move on. If that ruins it for them that you asked and they just want, that's like, did I even really want to be with you anyway? Because, you know, that's feels like misreading good intentions. But, you know, all of those things come with, you know, time and understanding and blah blah blah. But same thing with, you know, getting more intimate than just kissing is, you know, make sure that you're just make sure that you're keeping communication open, and, you know, checking and seeing if your partner, or, you know, partner of a night or however long, is doing good. It's always good to, you know, just ask occasionally. Like, you know, you can mix it in with everything too, but, like, you know, just make sure everything's okay. Okay, well, while I've been murdering people and getting murdered, I've just been talking about be responsible. Ooh. Just be like, ask your partner, are you okay? You okay? Now we got a sword, and they got a sword. Their sword might be longer. And again. This is where you want to try. See, they intercepted that little dodge, unfortunately. And now immobilized my right arm, which sucks. Okay. Oh, fatal error. Cool. Okay, well, I guess since the game crashed, we'll call that a good time to stop. But if you tuned in, I don't think we. If you tuned in or you watch this later or something, or I like cut this up into videos, thank you for coming along with me on my little fitness and slashing and cycling journey. And I'll see ya later.